Okay, so this Rams new special teams coordinator plan situation got a little bit more interesting today in McVay's press conference, which I'll show a little bit of video to. But essentially, the Rams are hiring Matt Harper, and we're going to talk more about him in a moment. But let's listen in on McVay's presser, and we'll talk.
There's been some things that we have to be better in some critical moments. And I do feel good about the leadership that, will be had by Ben Kotwica, and we'll also bring in, some.
Okay, so hold up here. So Ben Kotwica, still learning his name. He is the new Rams special teams coordinator. He's been a coach for a while. He's been around the Rams organization. But then check this out.
Somebody else to be able to help him in the meantime. And I'll
bring somebody else ready to help him. And they're going to follow up with this.
It'll be all hands on deck. So simply put, it was just what we felt like was best for the collective. And that's, sometimes the hard decisions that I'm tasked with, and always try to have the best intentions for our football team. And
okay, so the reporter follows up with, who they're bringing in. Okay.
To improve that.
I've worked with Ben before. I think, Ben has done a nice job. I know his capacity. I know the accountability. I know that the core beliefs that he has. And, this late in the year, you're not nice.
Again, love McVay's, belief in Ben and promoting from within. That's cool. Nothing wrong with that.
You're going to keep a lot of the foundational things, but I think there's some things that we want to have reflected in our style of play and the way that we go about, just our overall approach that I think will be, improved.
Can you tell us who will become? Will someone else be joining the staff, or will someone be elevated?
Yeah, it'll be a guy named Matt Harper.
Matt Harper. All right, that's who's coming in. Now, who is Matt Harper? You may ask. We're gonna find out.
Call him Harp. He's a guy that has some experience. He's been
Coach Harp. I like it.
He's got a bunch of NFL experience. He's been in places like Philadelphia, San Francisco. Ben has familiarity with him, coaching against him, and then knowing him. And so Matt Harper will be the guy.
And then,
okay, so Matt Harper coming on in, getting hired on. So just to point out, this whole situation is strange to me, right? Like firing your special teams coordinator this late in the season. Okay, you're promoting from within. That makes sense. But you bring in Matt Harper. So I did some digging here. So Matthew Harper, you can still find him on the 49ers website, even though I can't find any record of him being on this year's coaching staff with the Niners. However, I did do some digging, and it shows, so he was with the 49ers as an assistant special teams coach for 4 seasons. And then he was with the Eagles before that from 2013 to 2020. And then if you do a little bit more digging, he had an interview with the Giants to be their special teams coordinator, which he did not get. So I'm led to believe that I'm not sure what he was doing for work. If he was with another team, maybe he was coaching at the high school level. Wikipedia doesn't really help me out. I dug that far down in the internet trail. So, Matthew Harper, he's coached, a bunch of different places for the 49ers, for the Eagles, who have had some good special teams unit. So you think he's probably worked with Robbie Gould or Jake Elliott before in terms of kickers. I'm excited to see what this Rams special teams unit does, and does bringing in an assistant coach like this really help. So on the Coach McVay show with JB Long and Coach McVay, they talked about kind of what we can expect rest of season into the playoffs in regard to the Rams special teams, and I really liked what McVay had to say here.
here in the middle of December in terms of activating change and improvement at this stage of the game?
Yeah, I think better overall play. I think I expect to see us improve. No different than what I expect to see us from offense to defense. I expect the same exact things, whether that's aggressiveness in our coverage units, the ability to have the appropriate integrity, the way that we're.
This is one of the best things about Sean McVay that we saw the moment he got hired as the Rams head coach is accountability, right? He brings accountability to all three phases. You might say it's kind of frustrating that it had to come to this point in the year, but I believe he's being sincere here that he's expecting a lot of improvement out of this Rams special teams unit, that it will not just be a liability like it has been, that it will actually be a weapon for the Rams.
We're defeating blocks, transitioning from punt, where we're in a protection, to be able to go cover. I expect us to be able to hit the ball consistently, where we want to. And then if we don't, then let's have some other guys be able to make it right. I want to see continued, improvement in the arena of the field goal operation, which I think has been reflected, recently. And that's what I want to see us play, clean, good, sound execution where, hey, we're playing with speed, we're playing with violence, we're playing with an aggressiveness, and the same things that I think we've seen consistently. And there's been glimpses of that on teams, but what we've seen on offense and defense fairly consistently throughout, that's what I want to see on teams.
Is there a version of this Rams special teams group where you're in attack mode like you are in your other phases?
Yeah,
great question by JB Long right there. And I love what McVay was saying there. Let's see.
Is it a fair, I don't want to say criticism because I'm not trying to criticize your team, but it's been a few years since the Rams were kind of on their front foot in the kicking game,
and
right?
that's on me. It's on me and nobody else. That's not something that Chase could have controlled. Those are things that I have to be honest with myself about, and that is my responsibility and that's my fault. But what you do feel fortunate of is that there's opportunities to still be able to correct, to try to inspire and influence positive change, and that's what I think you're going to see reflected.
So love what he's saying there, and JB's not wrong to ask that question, and even when you think, any Rams fan that can think back to the Super Bowl team with Johnny Hekker, Matt Gay, as kicker, the Rams have had good special teams units. We maybe haven't had the best return games because it seems like the Rams can't break a big kick return to save their life. Every now and then we get a punt return that gets us past midfield, but it's rare for the Rams to get a kick return or a punt return, it seems. But Matt Gay, he was a weapon when he was the kicker for the Rams, and Johnny Hekker was a phenomenal punter. Possibly the best punter in Rams history. There was a couple seasons where Johnny Hekker was the best punter in football. And I do think Ethan Evans has the potential to do that. Maybe he doesn't have the arm that Hekker had, but there's something to that. And it seemed like there was always a chance that, hey, this could be a fake. It's a 4th and 4 at midfield. Maybe that's a good time for a fake, right? But when was the last time the Rams had a fake, punt, right? And not that you want to make a living off of fakes, but it's nice to know it's an option, right? But I am curious to know your thoughts in the comments below about this hiring here. Do you think the Rams are making the right move, promoting from within for the special teams coordinator and then hiring an assistant? And I can't shake this, and maybe it's a good sign that the Giants didn't hire him because the Giants don't really make the best decisions. But he interviewed for the Giants position, didn't get it, it seems like, and then he just didn't go to any team. And maybe he was looking for an opportunity like this. I'm excited when we can learn more information about how did that conversation go? Did McVay just text you or call you and be like, hey, want to come help fix our special teams unit? We're trying to win a Super Bowl, right? Is that how the conversation goes? I don't know, but I definitely am wishing Coach Harp all the best, and maybe he can play a harp to soothe the soul of the play. I don't know. Okay, I'm going too far there. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I'll be live on, of course, every Rams game. So Rams versus Falcons next Monday. And then normally on Wednesdays, but this Wednesday being Christmas Eve, we're going to take it off and we'll do the show on Friday. But we would love to hear from you in the comments. What are your thoughts on the Rams special teams coaching situation, special teams in general? I personally, I just don't want them to cost the game. I would love it if they were a weapon. I don't know if that's realistic this point in the season to totally reinvent your special teams unit so that, oh, all of a sudden the Rams can return kicks now. All of a sudden, the Rams are kicking 50, 60-yard field goals consistently. I don't think that's realistic. I think it's realistic having accountability on extra points and 40 to 50-yard field goals. I think it's realistic to have a punting game that's improved, especially punt coverage, which has been a liability for the Rams this season. And so I don't think those expectations are crazy. The Rams have a phenomenal offense. They have a defense that can make plays. And I just think if this special teams unit gets to a place where they're not costing the Rams games, the Rams do have a path to the Super Bowl. Whether they're the 1 seed, the 5 seed, whatever seed, I think they can grow all the way to a Super Bowl. Anyway, that's going to do it for me in this video. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Feel free to like and subscribe, all that good stuff. As always, go Rams, horns up, and peace out. Let's go Rams.